Okay, ladies and gentlemen, hello, welcome to an episode of Expert Reviews. I had a rather nice game in the KV-1S I was going to show and talk about, but I couldn't get it to work, and because I'd stuck my head with useful info about the KV-1S, I still wanted to cover a KV-1S gameplay, so to what replays I went, and this is what we've got. I have absolutely no idea what's going to happen in this game. I've seen the results screen, but beyond that, I have no idea. Why is my map garbage? Better! Okay, as we get started, putting up 43 kilometers an hour top speed of this thing to good use in this game, being that we are top tier and very top tier, getting to fight tier 4s in a tier 6 in this day and age. My god, what has happened? We should talk about the profile of this, because I don't know how quickly this game is going to progress, though I can only imagine it is going to be fairly horrific given the matchmaking and the results screen that I have seen. But here is the KV-1S, a tank, a box of nostalgia. Who has played the game from back when the KV-1S was the undisputed king of tier 6, and there was that old argument, do I play the KV-1S for the alpha, or do I play the T150 for the DPM and armor? My god, memories, man. But here we have 75mm of frontal armor, 60 on the side of the hull, 60 on the rear, and our turret is the same all round. We got 82 at the front, 82 at the side, and 82 at the rear. Weak spots to be aware of. We do have a cupola 60mm base armor, so that is a cupola that will weaken a weakness of the tank, as does that 82mm value in a tier 6 vehicle. 82mm means your tank cheeks here are about 90mm, somewhere around there, and beyond that, your gun manlet only gets from like 110 to 120. So if you're in this tank and you got like 150mm base pen, just shoot this thing straight in the face and you'll pen every single time. Now, the upper plate, while it says the front of the hull is 75mm, that is only on a very thin band of the front. Now, the upper plate only gets to about 100mm of effective armor, whereas the lower plate is 60mm of base armor with an effective of about 80. 70 actually, not 80. You aren't that lucky. But we're on Mines, a very small map, and it's a map that you kind of want to be on when you can be this dominant towards every single opponent. You don't want them to have space to run away from you, particularly not when you're in a tank with 340 meters of base view range. That is among the worst on any tier 6 heavy tank. It is only surpassed in its badness by tanks like the KV-2 and T150, which I believe have 330. So, woe is me is what you'll be saying on opened out maps. Now, what I'm saying right now is, what are you doing, my man? You are top tier. You've got a horsepower per ton of 14.40. Why are you looking for speculative shots halfway across the map? You should be getting up there, getting that speed going, using that 600 horsepower engine to get your way into an advanced position. Now, you're seeing the 2.1 second aim time here, pairing up with 160 alpha damage, 150mm of base pen, which is pleasant, it has to be said, 196 on the premium, 43 on the HE, which gives you 280 alpha damage, but you've got a base rounds per minute of 13.04, which is alright, gives you a base DPM of 2,176.7, I believe, so powerful. Certainly in this matchup puts you above most things, apart from things like that T-34-85M as an example. Aiming for the track here, I'd like to have seen you aim a bit higher to get the fuel tanks, but looks like you knock out the engine, prompting a fire in that German tonk there. And look at this. I mean, 5 degrees of gun depression that's found here on the KV-1S. Not remarkable by any means, but adequate enough, because if you'll notice his positioning, perched up on this land, tilted his tank up and therefore assisted his gun depression. Very nice indeed. For what it's worth, 15 degrees of gun depression, so we can make note of that as well. And perhaps I should have called attention to this while he was shooting at distance at that Panzer T-25, but standard shells and HE shells, of which he only carries one, which is a decision. I don't think this thing is pressed for ammo. Standard shells and HE shells, 800 meters per second shell travel time. Not particularly good, not particularly bad. Goes up to 1,000 with APCR, which again is not the best, but certainly not the worst. He's showing 60mm side armor there, and my word, his gun trolled him right there. Picks up a kill on a looks. Ooh, that's a beautiful cupola. But in a tank with a cupola this big and representing a serious weak spot, if you can see their cupola, they can see yours. So I like the back and forth here. 0.38 accuracy, 2.1 second aim time, but it seems that this guy's got a decent crew in the vehicle, got some equipment on it. We can tell that because it has 1,100 base hit points, and he's sitting here with 1,210. So improved hardening present on this vehicle, giving 110 bonus hit points. And there is a Lehefa. Are you going to be spotted now? Yes, you are. Why is that? Because the Lehefa has 390 meters of base view range. It's the same view range that you find on the tier 10 French light tank, just on a tier 5 French arty. Why is that the case? I don't know. Why does the SCM Pack 40 has 400 meters of view range? Because of reasons. That is why. But it's something you should be aware of when you see these tanks on the battlefield. Yeah, they are going to be able to spot you. This thing has 50 meters more base view range than the tank that you are driving, and it's a tier lower, and it's an arty. This is not okay. Alright, so are we gonna poke the elephant in the side? I would be careful. That is an endangered species that you are perforating there, fine sir. One thing to note. Information is good. Lehefa has been spotted. Look at the team list. The only thing that hasn't been spotted is the Hellcat. But a Hellcat just about to shot off us. We know where the Hellcat is. We know he's back there. As a result, we now know where every single opponent on the enemy team is. That's incredibly valuable information. At this point, do you take Hill? No. No, you do not. And there is a reason for that. I'm looking at this situation right now. What can take Hill from an enemy team? Let's say Panzer IV relocates, maybe the Panzer T-25, Panzer II here, the Harry Hopkins on a one-shot, the Lehefa ain't going out there. Stug, the Panzer SFL, unlikely. Hellcat, maybe if he gets off his ass. All of these tanks I can kill if they go onto the hill. I don't fear any of them. What I do fear is this. Box tank, KV-1, these are dangerous tanks in this circumstance. Right now, our team is outnumbered. It's 4-10. And in this circumstance, while I'm always talking to you about high ground being very important, and yes, it is, when you are outnumbered, claiming kills, reducing the amount of guns shooting back at you, is of paramount importance as well. And so in this circumstance, I believe that relinquishing powerful position, in this case the hill, in order to assert myself in a powerful position upon enemy tanks that are in a difficult position, I got the 88, the Stug, the arty shooting at them. If I add myself to that equation, it gets even more difficult. I believe that's the correct play right now, because I, in some ways, want the enemy team to take the hill. If the Hellcat, the Harry Hopkins, the Heifer, the Stug, the Hellcat gets on the hill, they are actually irrelevant to me engaging these gentlemen, right? The most relevancy they could have is by sending their tanks out here to shoot me in the butt. I want them to take hill because I am without a doubt the most dominant and flexible and effective tank left on this battlefield. So, let's see what he does. Is he going to plow forward and make an engagement here? You would hope so. Yes, relinquishing the hill, loading premium shells, 196mm of pen. Doesn't need premium for aiming at this KV-1 here. But now, SU-100Y has just fired, so you know he's not going to reload. You can plow forward. I'd say you've got about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I'd be cautious to poke on them again. But the box tank, it is a large package indeed, and does go down to a shot to the superstructure. Some base defense points here. Premium shells working their way through the enemy team. Absolutely gorgeous. Panzer SFL is a dangerous tank, a little nifty autoloader on that tier 4. It's not the tier 5, it's not the death toaster. And shooting the KV-1 here, you can go straight. Rare situation actually. Usually, when you're looking at the KV-1, the upper plate is a huge weakness. But because he was angled slightly up, if I had taken the shot at the upper plate there, it might well have bounced. But that said, the lower plate is still a weakness, though not as weak as the upper plate when it's on flat land. Interesting. Either way, premium shells not going to put up a fight there. He picks up the KV-1, picks up his 5th kill, and now I'd be turning. You want to support your best chance of winning. What's your best chance of winning in this game? The 88 and yourself, right? The Panzer SFL isn't a threat right now. It's really not. The cap's not a threat right now. I'd be turning and at least having a look to see if I could cover my 88 and keep him in the game, because I believe he is my greatest chance of winning. Add to that the fact that our commander's just died, so our viewing is even worse. Oh, we do not want to be alone in this situation, even if we can use the buildings to our advantage. So I hope to see him turn around here. And if he doesn't, let's hope that he loads his singular HE shell for 43mm of pen, and that 280 alpha damage might well be able to mess up the Panzer SFL if he puts it into the superstructure. But not looking towards the 88, and as far as that 88, I'd be very worried about crossfire from that Hellcat who's moved up towards the centre. The one advantage we can talk about with regards to moving on this gentleman in the cap is that when you do inevitably go down to a 1 versus however many here, you're going to be able to turn around and have all of them to your front. And there's that autoloader we were talking about. He's going to get a 3rd. Ooh, poor decision making there. Could have saved himself some damage by going for the side snipe, utilising his 60mm of side armour. And you want to put your commander back in, my friend. You're about to be 1 versus however many, and you're gonna need every single meter of that 340-meter base view range. Put your commander back in, my friend. What are you doing? This guy's gonna disappear into the ether in just a second. Poof! And he's gone. HE shells on the Panzer IV, most likely wielding a derp gun. The Heifer's got to be a serious concern at this point, not just because of the fact that he can load HE shells, heat shells, but because view range as well. If you're not going to put your commander back in with your medkit that you very definitely have, oh my word, I guess his heart is racing so much that he just can't think. AP shells from the Hellcat there, 240 alpha damage on that 90mm gun, making an impact. And at this point, do you load HE? 16mm of armor on the front turret of that Hellcat there. Your 43mm of pen would certainly go through, and oh my word, he just gets trolled. Okay, The heifer coming up behind. Interesting, interesting. Now, he's just above a one shot on average. I like the fact that you noticed that. Now, what you do at this point, you don't turn your target towards the heifer. You reverse out here to cut off the angle as much as you can. You load a HE shell and you keep aimed on the Hellcat. You reverse back here. If the heifer comes in front of you, you've got a HE shell for the superstructure Nightware pen. You've got a HE shell for the Hellcat as well. Remember, 160 alpha damage, not 180. So these tanks are very definitely two shots. Very dangerous situation. You are a two-shot for the Hellcat. The only caveat to that is that we know the Hellcat is firing HE. Or at least he was. So do you consider that and say, okay, he's not going to pen my ass. 82mm on the turret, 60mm on the hull. He's not going to pen me. So I can turn and deal with this heifer. Is that a consideration that you make? Because out wide you got a Panzer IV-H. If he's loading heat or gets a lucky pen with a HE shell, he might be able to make a penetration. So we shall see who he prioritizes here. Undoubtedly, the Hellcat has got to be target numero uno. Let's see. Reversing, cutting off the angle. Very good, but poor awareness on the shot. He's baiting the heifer. Good to see, but you really got to be more persistent there. He's going to get the kill with 5 degrees of gun depression. Get the shot. 5 degrees of gun depression, really trolling him there. Should be dead. By all rights, should be dead. Hellcat should have loaded an AP shell for both of the 2-3 shots that he got into the side there. And now the commander's back in action. Panzer coming up behind, should be a clean shot, but he misses it completely. Doesn't try and get out of the way, they just present themselves to him. Single file, one by one. And please, Lord, get that HE shell loaded in the chamber. Come on! 4 hit point Sturg and 1 shot on the Hellcat. HE shell, my man! Okay, aggression at this point, you gotta step it up, buddy. You're outnumbered. You can't be waiting around, waiting for them to flank. Come on now. Hellcat's still on that corner. Good information. Okay, cuts off. That was an option. The option is either aggression or disengagement, right? So, viable option in my mind. Will he be able to pick up the Sturg? At this point, when you were close, it was viable to load HE. Now, disengaging, I worry about the Panzer IV-H presenting an option from behind him. So what I might do here is I might try and cut off this fight, wait until they get unspotted, then plow up here. Just plow forward straight up this alley. Because not only does that cut off the Panzer IV popping up on the hill here, also maybe catches out the Hellcat, maybe catches out the Sturg as well. HE shell. Oh, please load it. Why do you have it? Why do you have it if you're not going to one-shot the Hellcat? If you're not going to splash the Stug? Trying to be sneaky. I like it. I like it. Patience at this point. Now, I'd be nervous. I'd be very nervous at this point. I really think you're going to have someone poking there or there at some point. We haven't seen that Panzer IV-H for a very, very long time. Well, I say very long time. It's going to feel like even longer when your heart is pounding, sitting on 8 kills, 4,000 damage, and Mr. Stug spots you through the neck. If you did not know, dead tanks do not impede spotting rays at all. So his position given away. Passivity is too great right now. If I was on this enemy team, you would be dead. Because I would have claimed position and I would be above you and I would be presenting problems like that. Okay. Now you know where the Hellcat is. Now is the Stug isolated. That's what I like to see. Plow forward a bit. Panzer IV. Okay. Bounces. Shame. Pull forward a little bit. Lucky. 60mm of armor holding up. Hellcat's gotta be dropping off the hill behind you. Gotta be worried. Gotta be worried. And it looks like he is. He's turning towards the Hellcat. Come on. Get that HE shell in the chamber. My God, man, make up your mind. Go for someone. Either go for the Hellcat. Is he still fighting HE? One kill. We will take it. Panzer IV tries to exploit. That was a good move, in my opinion. Trying to make that guy a one-shot on the way in before he closes. I really like that poke. We know this guy's got a dirt gun. We know that he's moving. When he is moving, his gun is less accurate. His gun is really inaccurate anyway. So absolutely worth the poke for the shot there, because he's very unlikely to connect his shell. Certainly more unlikely than you are to connect yours. So really good poke. 1 AP shell left. Let's see what this Panzer IV gets up to. And you don't want him getting away, so I like pushing forward here. You've got a neck on the corner that you can use. Nice aggression. And you know he can't go anywhere at this point. You know he can't go anywhere. What I'd do is I'd push the Stug. He can't go left, he can't go right. We've got him trapped there. One thing I don't want him doing is I don't want him double bushing getting a lucky pen. I'd probably push the Stug. Use the Stug as cover and just push it up there. Covers my hull, gets me hull down. And this guy cannot get out. That's what I'm thinking about right now. I'm knowing exactly where he is. And this is what I was concerned about. This is what I was concerned about. This is why I would have pushed the Stug. Oh, gets lucky not to get tracked there. Another connection. Whew. Okay, if the Panzer IV gets the... Oh, that was clean if you took the shot there, but... Let's see. You should be able to take one. If you go unspotted, then Agma will play it. Okay. Forward! Well, that was answer 9. My lord. So, very many poor decisions presented in that game, both by our hero here in the KV-1S and by the enemy team. Who was this gentleman? Jade Tuado was his non-nickname, by the looks of... Oh no, it shows the new name. Jade Tuado, well, congratulations to you. It's a lovely game. 4,500 damage, 11 kills, and a Kolobanov's medal as well, but a litany of poor decisions scattered around this game. But it was exciting, nonetheless. So, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you've enjoyed this episode of the Expert Review series. If you have a replay that you'd like me to take a look at, send it to replays.orst@yahoo.co.uk and I will have a look. Thank you very much, and farewell.
Everybody cheers from Germany, man. Thought I'd hide a couple silly verses, my friend. He is a nice guy like Ned Flanders, but wielding a pen hammer that make viewers feel him like a gang member, yeah. You better never ever shoot versus the man, cause that's a jerk of his hand, hence you're a permanent ban, yep. Like in a roleplay game, you wield a dagger but